Well, my alley radar is working because we've caught up with this young lad, picking up marulas on the ground that have fallen from this tree. And he was facing us. There's beautiful light on him. I'm going to have to try and move a little bit so that we can catch a bit of the light, the side. I like this side lighting rather than full-on light or triangle. All these zinnias are starting to fade now. They were so lovely and red against the green. It'd be nice if they could fade before they seed. But I guess that's wishful thinking. Jambo tembo, Rafiki yangu. Yeah, why don't you just turn your back on me all the time? Why don't you? And a monarch, African monarch, flittering near his feet, but it's gone now. There it is, coming closer to me. Come here, butterfly. Ellie butterfly. Butterfly for Ellie. There's a type of sage here on the open area that the monarchs seem to get some nutrients from, or perhaps they use it as a host plant. There is, of course, the milkweed. But I can't imagine they're laying eggs right now. Who knows? Anyway, there's a beautiful marula tree, very typical shape of a marula tree. Beautiful, large, round crown, and always some lovely flat branches that are kind of grown specifically for leopard to lie on, and forks in the trees that are designed to hold their kills. This is one of the reasons why you have pretty much a predominance of, in some areas of leopards using marula trees. In some cases, in some places in other parts of Africa, where I've lived with big sausage trees that are also very, very large, bigger than these marula trees. They love the sausage trees because it's a very big leaflet, or very big compound leaves that provide perfect shade. Okay, we're not going to go far. We're going to watch him for a while. And while we've got him, Scott's got something for you, so we'll see what will come back to me in a bit. Me and the Ellie.
Back, folks, and look at this beautiful, beautiful, dark giraffe bull. I believe he has been seen before. I think Mark found him. I certainly haven't seen this one. He is an incredibly beautiful specimen. Let's watch closely. He's chewing the cud, so he's just swallowed a bolus, and watch his throat very closely. You'll see the next one coming up and popping into his head. I'll let you know when to watch. So keep watching kind of his trachea, I guess, along the front of his throat, and you'll notice, if you watch very closely, a small little lump move upwards and then pop into his mouth. Keep watching closely. Come on. I think he may be not too interested in my plan, but we can still keep watching. He hasn't moved, and I'm fairly sure he could be chewing the cud. I saw him just swallow one mouthful, and he hasn't been eating any leaves, so it would be cud that he's chewing, and they typically process bolus after bolus of cud and re-chew the vegetation to make sure they digest it as effectively and efficiently as possible. And you can actually see the ball traveling up his throat usually, but he may have just got stage fright. What a magnificent specimen, and again, just such a great reason, or another good reason to emphasize how useful it is having Marc back here, because we can literally show you twice the amount of game potentially.
Welcome everybody, welcome to my world of elephants. Because really, they're the kings of the African bushveld. Most certainly. There's a lot of myth and legend and storytelling about the lion is the king of the jungle. But it's not true. Because when you think about it, a lion has a territory. And a lion is but a cat compared to an elephant, and elephants can chase lions away, and well, elephants go wherever they want. They don't have territories. They roam over hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, and they go wherever they want, and everything moves out of their way. So true masters of their environment, they are pretty much responsible for everything being here. The way elephants and trees have adapted to each other, to the presence of each other, almost being well, elephants need trees as much as trees need elephants. You can see him just popping those marulas into his mouth. Got really good aim. We'd love to find how you can get that in slow motion or something. But literally sort of picking them up and flicking them into his mouth from a good few inches away. I mean, it's a good 6 to 8 inches away. That is it. Come, one more. Let's see, one more. Oops. Now, some of you might remember that we've had an elephant that has lost part of its trunk, the tip of its trunk. We've seen a few actually over the years, and people have asked me how it affects their feeding. And I lived with an elephant up in Tanzania that had lost the tip of its trunk, and it was most incredible to watch it eating marula fruits, because it didn't have those two little fingers at the end of the trunk to be able to pick up a marula fruit, which is about, I'd say, a little bit smaller than a golf ball, like a ping pong ball. Ping pong, table tennis. I'm going to have to move Brian. I think to do some yoga in the back there to follow him. Now, there's a cloud moving in pretty quick. Anyways, this little elephant used to load them up his nostrils like a pea shooter, and then pop them into his mouth like a pea shooter. It was the most incredible thing. But just his power to adapt to feed on things that make it awkward. When it came to things that were too big to sort of put into the actual nostril part of his trunk, it was amazing. He would curl his trunk into a little cup shape, or he'd curl the tip of his trunk, and he'd actually roll the big doom palm fruits and other larger fruit. He'd roll them onto his trunk with his front foot. Well, it's a hand really, it's not a foot. I don't know why we call animals four-legged, because they don't have the bones in their front. I mean, they've got shoulder blades, they've got the same arm bones that we have, that they walk on their hands and their feet. So they're four-limbed rather than four-legged. If we look at him, we can see, as he's going to walk past us and we'll be able to see it. Maybe I can do a bit of maneuver. There's my finger. And what I want to do is, you can see there's his elbow. Let me go move again. We need to go the other side of him so we can see him in the light. At the moment it's a little bit dark because we're looking into the sun. Where are you going, Tembo? Can we walk with you, or can we go with you? I'm going to wait till he goes past, and I'm going to go behind him and onto the western side of him. JB in the UK wants to know what those white spots are in the corner of his eye. It's mucus and accumulated mucus because he blinks a lot. Because you can imagine, sorry boy, did I don't want to push you on further. I just want to get to the western side. Probably remember his feeding it on. He's walking through brush and grasses and trees, and it's getting quite dusty nowadays, and I suppose more so now going into the dry season, although we're not quite there yet, but it is getting a bit dry and there is a bit of dust. The whole purpose of blinking, much as it is with us humans, the whole purpose of blinking is to get rid of foreign things, dust and other particles on the eye itself, and so by blinking you're actually moving all of that stuff. You're wiping it all off into your lower eyelid, and just the way the eye is situated, it eventually ends up in the corner of the eye, much like it does with us, where our tear ducts are, which is where the eye produces moisture for the eyeball to not dry out. A couple of drongos that are enjoying his company because he's chasing up some insects, and they're getting a lot more than they would normally get without a large mammal moving around their territory. So it's just mucus and dust and particles that his eyes have cleaned, and you find sometimes you'll actually find elephant curling their trunks, the tip of their trunk, into like a little fist and rubbing their eyes in very much the same way we do when we wake up. He does have a very slight must smell about him. He is leaking from his temporal glands. He's not dribbling between his legs. That drongo is back again next to his face, but he's pulling quite hard on that arboretum, and the drongo's finding it hard to balance. Oh, drongo's right there next to his trunk. Question from Ellie about Tanzania. What's up, dude? Got a mouthful of this, I think it's Rhodes grass. It's a grass that only really grows on termite mounds, and he's been picking a lot of it. What's that? Something else? Just taking a few leaves. Back to a marula tree to look for fruit. And his accompanying drongos. I have to agree, there are places where it is so overcrowded, and there are no rules like we have here in South Africa, and it's kind of a hard one to monitor. It's a hard one to police. It's a hard one to have the equivalent of what we have here, sort of the guide grading system, where guides are compelled to pass exams and have certificates and qualifications. There is a guide training school in Tanzania. There is a body that governs them, but you'll find a lot of the professional guides that have found their way to the places where it isn't crowded and where their expertise and their passion and their knowledge comes in handy. The thing is that because there isn't really she's going to chew all the sand off of those roots, putting up